Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to UX, and this is the insane US military operation to open the Strait of Hormuz by General Max Afterburner. Oh, how things change. Oh, we're gonna completely destroy an entire civilization. Oh, by the way, it's a double-sided ceasefire now. Everything's gonna be fine. Oh, it's not fine. It's one-sided thing. Oh, by the way, US military has an operation now to open the Strait of Hormuz. So that ceasefire didn't even last long enough to be a thing. Social media didn't even have time to talk about it before it was completely disintegrated. So yeah, I don't know what happened for this video to be out. I'm guessing something happened. Some military thing is underway or something. Otherwise, why would Max make this video? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Let's watch this one.
It's Friday, April 10th, 2026. We're deep into what seems to be a standoff over the Strait of Hormuz, and here's the shocking info. Oil traffic through the Strait of Hormuz remains effectively halted despite that US-backed ceasefire.
That is how it was before. So it's not much of ceasefire if ships are still turning off the transponders, which is why it's like blank. It's not like ships are basically going through a like warp tunnel and appearing here. No, they're shutting off the transponders around this area. So ceasefire is not in effect, because why are they afraid of Iran if ceasefire is in effect? So it's just weird.
Fire that basically hinged on reopening that critical waterway, raising fresh questions about whether Iran is following through on their central condition of the actual truce itself. There's a backlog of roughly 3,200, yes, 3,200 vessels, among them 800 tankers and cargo ships. It's built up west of the strait, mainly with ships idling as operators wait for clarity on whether it's actually safe to pass. So is Iran tapping the world along again? Holding on to their last domino of keeping the strait closed? Shipping data from maritime traffic is showing us a wild situation developing. We're going to cover all of that. Let's pop to X for the latest breaking info on what's actually going on with the strait. Welcome to X, my friends. This is the latest breaking information on the Strait of Hormuz, happening live. The status is restricted. Fragile 2-week US-Iran ceasefire began April 8th, as we know. Nominally reopening the strait. Nominally would be the key word there. But Iran maintains selective control requiring permission.
Is it just me? Why is this timer ominous? It's been 2 days, 13 minutes, 13 hours and 38 minutes until the ceasefire was announced. It's like this is a timer. The number goes up, people's heartbeat goes up, because one of these days, this timer is going to stop. And I'm guessing it did stop because it's not really open.
Mission for passage and charging tolls over $1 million per ship. Anybody surprised? The mafia's charging $1 million per ship? Weird. We never saw that coming. It used to be $2 million per ship, so we're getting a good deal now at this point. Thank you, IRGC. Really appreciate that. Only a handful of vessels transiting effectively remains closed to normal operations. Duration of restriction.
You need to understand how much $1 million for the Iran is, right? Too many ships cross that area, 20% of all world's oil. And knowing how much like the inflation is, like Iranian currency is really down low, right? Because even like 60,000 US dollar was fortune for people. That was the bounty for the US soldier. So $1 million a ship is an insane number for them.
13 hours. 38 minutes since the ceasefire. At least it's not fully blocked. We've got a lot of ships flowing through, right? Well, hold on. Actually, no. 5 ships in 24 hours. This is how much has gone through. Not 1, not 2, not 100, but 5. We've got 5. That's 8.3% of the 60-day normal. And they're not even...
Yeah, so this is insane because tens, if not hundreds of ships go every day. So if they pay $1 million per ship, that is like 100 million every day. In 10 days, you make $1 billion US dollar. That's a big number for IRGC. Like matter of month, matter of years, they'll buy things left and right. Their military will be actually more powerful than it was before if this becomes a thing. So if US agrees, yeah, fine, you can charge $1 million per ship. Yeah, that's just over. Like in 2, 3, 5 years, Iran will be way too powerful.
telling us how many ships are waiting, because that is an ugly number, which we're going to talk about. But they're like, yeah, we don't have enough space here in this graphic to talk about how many ships are actually waiting. 3 transiting right now. We've got 3 making their way right now. So this is showing the inbound lane up here on the top, and then the outbound lane down here. We've got 3, a whopping 3 transiting the straits right now. In the last 24 hours, normal daily average is 60, so we're at 8.3% according to this. War risk insurance. Yeah, if you're a war insurance salesman right now, you're probably doing pretty well. You could probably charge
war risk premium 5%, but increase is 33.3 times. Oh, it was 0.15 and now it's 5%. Damn.
a pretty good premium at this point. War risk premium 5%, 33 times the normal amount. Global trade impact, so it's just showing 20% world oil at risk, $3.2 billion daily cost.
So critical is for China, India, Japan, and South Korea. See, they are not going to attack Chinese cargo for obvious reason. India might not be the best ally, but it's like a neutral situation. Don't want to piss off India. It's annoying, but Indian cargo will pass through as well. So the one that is completely screwed is Japan and South Korea. That is insane. And Japan and South Korea is like big manufacturing hubs in a way, right? A lot of things are Japanese, a lot of things are South Korean. Even the RAMs, like in world, there's already a RAM shortage. Everything needs a RAM, even satellite and processors needs RAM. There's a RAM shortage, and a lot of RAMs are made by Samsung, if not half or more of them, and they're South Korean. So a lot of these things is like, you have no idea the ripple effect, like the butterfly effect. One thing leads to another, and entire world has an issue because of it.
That is actually going up. It used to be 1.4, just 1.4 billion a day is all it was. Now we're seeing 3.2 billion daily cost. European Union at the highest risk, critical for China, India, Japan, South Korea, even though we've seen ships.
Oh, there are other criticals. I thought it was like decreasing. No, it's European Union is high. Critical is Gulf Cooperation Council. Saudi, UAE makes sense. It's their thing, right? Critical. Iraq. Oh, is it critical for Iran? They're the one doing it, man. Yeah.
From India and China continue to go through the strait. Critical for Gulf Cooperation Council. Obviously, Iran doesn't want Saudi, UAE, Qatar getting any of their oil through. We all know that. And then critical for Iraq and Iran itself, even though they're still getting their oil to China and making that beautiful money from the Chinese regime. LNG, also LNG, liquefied natural gas, is a big deal here as well. 20% of the world LNG at risk, 0.85 billion daily LNG costs. So just 0.85 billion, not quite a billion. So, hey, this is just a drop in a bucket compared to 3.2 billion. Qatar depends entirely on Hormuz for maritime.
I mean, that's not how money works. Inflation, the perceived value, it is 0.85 billion, 0.885 billion in everyday use. Like if there was no issue, that would be the cost. But right now, since 20% of LNG comes from that, and if they get hampered, it's not 0.85 billion. Why do I have a hard time saying that? It's not 0.85. It's much higher than that. Because the value of LNG is much higher now, and money cannot replace LNG. Doesn't matter what it costs. So it's a resource that is getting choked. So it's not just about 0.85. It's like much bigger issue here, right? It will affect other things.
Exports.
Industries need LNG.
Declared force majeure, which is just fun to say. Over 112 billion cubic meters of LNG normally transits Hormuz.
Yeah, factories, I know this for a fact because I build factories. LNG is critical for a lot of factories to work. India, China, these are the countries that needs LNG. And why do I care? Yeah, okay. World's most of the manufacturing happens in China and then India. If that is hampered, entire world economy gets hampered. Where are people going to get their things from if it's not being built? If factories temporarily shut down because we don't have LNG, what are we going to replace? Yeah, it's a problem. Global economy is problematic this way because everybody doesn't make their own thing. This is not like Iron Curtain from Soviet Union, right? Everybody has their pros and cons. Manufacturing is China and India's pros. World kind of need them, right? So it's not just about China and India, screw them. Well, why do we care? Yeah, okay, you're not going to get your things because that's how global economy has become. You don't make your own things. You rely on other country to make your things. So that's the issue.
Alternative LNG infrastructure is very limited, which why? Why has this been so limited? I mean, at this point, I think it's pretty clear there's got to be an alternative with pipelines that go around the Straits of Hormuz, even though we've looked into that, and that could take up to 3 years to build.
Yeah, but pipeline cannot replace the cargoes or ships. How many pipeline? How the pipeline is going to work? How is it going to be that efficient? I mean, you need to build, I don't even know the level of pipeline you need to build to do that.
Don't exactly have 3 years to get the world economy humming right now. And here's the regional impact heat map: Asia, Middle East, Gulf Cooperation Council, European Union, everybody not having the greatest time with energy flow as we know. And that's why we're doing this video. We're talking about what it would take to actually open the strait if it comes down to that. And hey, this could be a fracture of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps that's still in charge of the strait. So we might be negotiating with a part of the IRGC's leftovers that actually want to be less radicalized, as we've seen the president say, but then you got to deal with a potential fracture.
That's a wishful thinking, Max, because the guy that is in charge, the replacement, the son of the Kemen, is like even more extreme, as people say. Now, is he really in charge, or is he just the guy that they use photo of? This is the guy in charge, while other members of IRGC run the country? I don't know. Like, who knows who's running the country? But the way things are going, it feels like they're even more extreme. Because after this level of destruction in Iran, USA threatening to destroy all the power structure, they're not backing down. Ceasefire, they're not even adhering to that. Like, okay, screw it, I don't care, we're still going to close the Strait of Hormuz, even though US can just come and destroy our power plants. Like, they're not backing down, man. So that tells me they're even more extreme.
And a faction of the actual fracture of the IRGC that's now doubling down, becoming even more hardline. And we kind of knew this would happen, right? At some point, if someone comes to the table, there's going to be other factions that are going to go even further the other direction. So is that what we're seeing in
Power
the Strait of
vacuum.
Hormuz? Is that why it's basically impassable at this point? Check this out. This is some latest breaking information. Reza Pahlavi has said recently met with a group of Iranian-American engineers, investors, and experts from leading U.S. technology companies. They are working on solutions to assist the people of Iran in their fight for liberation and preparing to help in Iran's post-Islamic.
How our American commercial sector, not the military or governmental sector, engineers, investor, is going to help in Iran. Iran is IRGC control. It's not even close to being not in IRGC control. Trump is not even saying like we're going to make it less IRGC control. Trump is saying like next IRGC we are going to make deal of. So Trump is not even saying that. So how is any of this going to come into effect? How are they going to help? Like that's like you can ask CIA some kind of covert way to help Iranian people. I'm pretty sure America did that, tried to give them guns or something. Military, Trump, maybe. How is private sector going to help? Until everything stabilizes and it becomes like no longer war, everything's stable, private sector can't do nothing.
Republic reconstruction. So it's pretty exciting. So obviously some things happening behind the scenes, hopefully giving the free people of Iran the ability to stand up on their own 2 feet. Very exciting there. So picture this. You're in an F-35 deep in enemy territory in a dogfight, 20,000 feet, pulling 9 Gs, but your wingman's got that, oh, well, we'll just see what happens attitude. But one wrong call and you're a smoking hole in the ground while your wingman's off doing loops to music. There's a reason why you wouldn't trust a lazy wingman with your life, just like there's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is
There you go. I'm like, where is he going? But yeah, now it makes sense.
America's largest injury
I
law
would be that wingman though. It's F-35. We'll see about it. Let's go. It's now or never, man.
firm. Morgan & Morgan has been fighting the good fight for the people for over 35 years. Over $30 billion recovered for their clients. That's real results from real lawyers who know how to win.
If you're ever injured in an accident, see if you have a case with, I thought it was an insurance company. No, this is like lawyer firm. It will make sense. Go to regional video page link and from there support this channel.
Very happy that you did. And then President Trump warned on Thursday. He said Iran is doing a very poor job, dishonorable, some would say, of allowing oil to go through the Strait of Hormuz. That is not the agreement we have. Could this conflict kick back off over the Straits of Hormuz? In this video, we're going to break down what it would look like if it does and how the U.S. military would basically have to pry that can open to make it happen. And one key technical detail that hits home is the narrow 21 nautical mile wide choke point. Tight waters are going to be potentially packed with mines.
See, that's how effed up this is.
Wide choke point.
You can't even see it from here. All the way from here. If alien comes here, they wouldn't even know what a Strait of Hormuz is. Look at it, it's like pinpoint small from here.
Tight waters
then you zoom
are
in.
going to be potentially packed with mines, coastal missiles that can try to choke off the straits and the energy supply, even if the U.S. tries to go in and open it up. And then President Trump posted this on Truth Social as well. He said there are reports that Iran is charging fees to tankers going through the Hormuz Strait. They better not, and if they are, they better stop now. Oh, weird, the mafia charging a fee to go through the Strait of Hormuz. We never saw that one coming. So how would the U.S. actually open the Strait of Hormuz? Well, the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group and the USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Groups could be protected.
Who are they charging it to? Is it European Union, South Korea, Japan? I know India sends its navy. If they're charging money, why India sending navy? China's not going to pay for anything. Iran is probably debt to China, so China's not going to give them money. So probably European Union or like Korea or Japan. I don't know. That's just weird.
Protecting the different flow of tankers going through the strait. Helicopters specialized in sweeping the actual ocean for mines. F-15s, F-18s, along with massive amounts of drones hammering coastal missile sites and looking to strike down those speedboats. The speedboats, the fast attack craft, would likely be the #1 thing that Iran's going to focus on should this conflict kick back off. But remember, Special Operations is in the area with the Marine Expeditionary Unit housing Marine Special Forces called Marine Recon. Reconnaissance Marines could be at the heart of actually opening the strait if it comes down to that. If all of these talks fail, it looks like talks will actually kick off tomorrow. But again, we've seen what's happened when we've tried to talk to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps regime. But President Trump has said that it looks like a new, less radicalized regime is actually in charge in Iran. And we've seen Reza Pahlavi talking about a post-Islamic revolution where the actual people might have a say in the future of Iran itself. But right now, the U.S. has 2 supercarriers in the region, and they would likely be the ones at the focal point of prying open the actual straits itself. But this would be a wild showdown of epic proportion, and it's likely why we haven't seen force specifically used amphibiously to just dominate the Straits of Hormuz, because there would likely be a lot of losses if that were to happen. Is the juice worth the squeeze? The U.S. isn't getting a lot of energy from the Strait of Hormuz, but obviously the U.S. wants the markets to be open because the global economy impacts everyone. But if it comes to this, if these negotiations fail, we'll be breaking down how the U.S. military would be operating a full spectrum push to get the oil flowing again. So stay to the end of the video for the full scoop on how this could play out.
Yeah, I think JD Vance is in Islamabad, right in Pakistan. So is Iranian delegation. Now I'm going to say this. Is this really smart? Pakistan is not really stable, man. You hear about like strikes and terror attack happening all the time. Like Pakistan is not stable. If anything, who's of the who's terrorist will usually be found in Pakistan, weirdly. Terrorists could be the world known, probably doing some terror attack all the way in like somewhere Europe or like Iraq, Georgia or something like close to Israel, and somehow will be found in Pakistan. That's the place they'll end up in. So is that really like safe place for like JD Vance to go? I don't know, man.
And the real costs that would be involved. But when the straits gets jammed up, America doesn't just sit back. They bring in the right tools and the right attitude to get the job done and hit it in all the right spots. But what happens next could change the way that we see the entire fight playing out in Iran should conflict kick back off. So the ceasefire was meant to reopen the strait after Iran's earlier blockade during the months of conflict. Instead, we're seeing a de facto holdup. Naval assets, including the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group and supporting destroyers and littoral combat ships, are postured and ready to respond, with President Trump saying, hey, nobody's leaving at this point. We're going to hang around and just kind of trust but verify. Yeah. Hey, IRGC, yeah, we trust you. Yeah, we totally think you're stand-up guys. We want you to date our sister. Yeah, don't worry. But we're just going to hang out with our massive military, multiple advanced supercarriers, just to take a little watchful eye. We're actually...
It caught me off guard suddenly. We're going to let you date our sister. Like, what just happened? Okay, it's example it's giving. All right. Okay, is Abraham Lincoln now officially one of the most useful, is that the right word? One of the most battlely used aircraft carrier in modern history, because it was part of probably the largest operation since Iraq War, and it's still there, right? It's the main carrier since day one. It's still there, obviously, because Ford was like 10, 11 months in operation. It's just been a month, so Lincoln's going to be there for as long as it's needed. And destroyer groups around Lincoln is basically doing the most heavy lifting, right? They're still going to do the heavy lifting. This is like most useful, aircraft carrier ever. I don't know.
Here to back you up. We're just the ones that are a little bit paranoid. You, IRGC, you guys are great, but we're just going to keep these massive naval assets here just to back you up. This is really for you. The operation could combine naval escorts for those commercial tankers, mine countermeasures with helicopters, specialized vessels to sweep the threats, specifically targeting IRGC speedboat swarms. So you'd have A-10s, and then hear me out on this one, multiple advanced drones. If there was a way to get Anduril's advanced Fury drones, Shield AI X-Bat drones, having basically a full-time countermeasure of drones up overhead of the strait, that might actually really help with this, because again, you wouldn't be...
Isn't Fury drone the tanker? Yeah, it's the tanker, right? An X-Bat is like an advanced Shahid type advanced drone. Like you have Lucas, which is basically reverse engineered one. But X-Bat is much more high-end, like American-style drone, which costs more, I guess.
Risking manned assets. We did see an MQ-4 Global Hawk go down in the Strait of Hormuz. It was doing operations there, likely seeing what ships are actually passing through, and it went down. So Iran is probably saying that, oh, it was enemy fire, but likely it lost.
All of them are like, this is such a weird time I live in. Even in this video, I saw the comments or somebody saying like, I guess pretending to American and confuse people. I don't know what that is. Like, oh, for a long time I believe it was a rescue mission, but now the reports are coming out it was some kind of a uranium heist. I don't know what to believe. Like, I'm an American. You're not. Let's be honest. Stop doing this like weird. Like it's just cringy at that point. Right? So everything's fake. It's like, Earth is flat mentality. Earth is flat. Nobody went to moon ever. And by the way, anything that comes up, I'm going to say is a lie. And I'm going to say anything that, works with how I think. Otherwise, everything is a propaganda. Right? F-15 was shot down completely. F-35 was shot down. Oh, those two C-130 planes, C-130 planes, they were not like destroyed by the Americans. They were destroyed by enemy fire that they had to leave behind. Those helicopter was also destroyed by enemy fire. America didn't destroy it. This is what they're saying, man. Really? So anything get destroyed? Oh, we did it. There you go. We couldn't touch anything for a month, but now suddenly we're destroying things. How do you cope with that? I don't understand the coping mechanism. I get it. You need a victory, but you're just going to make things up? Like, at least it has to make sense, man. You're just going to make things up right now, really?
Link would be my assumption that it actually wasn't able to communicate with higher headquarters to control it, and I've seen that happen before. I've actually seen where fighter jets have to go in and shoot these things down because they lose link. But if we had more advanced drones that were up there, not just for ISR, for you acronym lovers, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, we need more than that. We need teeth on these drones to strike the fast attack boats should the straits be fully closed again. I mean, 5 ships or whatever going through right now isn't exactly a steady flow. From the Iranian side, official state media claim the strait is open with restrictions for safety. It's for your guys' safety that we're going to charge you a couple $1 million per tanker. Again, we're escorting you safely. They're pointing to the...
Yeah. Open with restriction is such a weird way to say it. It's like, I didn't get shot. It's just a flash wound. So you did get shot. Yeah, but bullets not in it, but you still got shot. But not completely. Yeah, that's not how it works. Is it open or is it not? There is no such thing as partial open. Restriction means it's not open.
The Israeli strikes on Hezbollah and Lebanon as the real ceasefire breaker. The IRGC has warned that foreign vessels must coordinate directly with their naval forces.
Whoa, how did that not destroy the neighboring things, man? That is insane.
Israeli strikes on Hezbollah and Lebanon.
Oh, that's like a 3-4 story building. Man, that's insane. The debris like flew out everywhere, man. This is what if there are children walking around, man? This like, every time I see this, just effed up. I hope they're checking for like surroundings or something.
As the real ceasefire breaker, the IRGC has warned that foreign vessels must coordinate directly with their naval forces, which do they really have a naval force yet? It's a couple of guys in a rowboat at this point, and they have to stick to designated Iranian territorial waters, get explicit permission, or risk being destroyed. So they're basically doing the exact same thing they did before. Like, they really didn't change anything, if we're really being honest. They're allowing limited traffic while halting ships with high tolls up to $2 million. Just a cool $2 million, payable in yuan. Weird. Oh, interesting. You can pay it in yuan and not US dollars. Yeah, it's almost like they're changing the petrodollar from the US dollar to the yuan. Yeah, we never saw that coming. They're also allowing payment.
Wait a minute, what?
You can pay it in yuan and not US dollars. Yeah, it's almost like they're changing the petrodollar from the US dollar to the yuan. Yeah, we never saw that coming. They're also allowing payment with Bitcoin.
I mean, yeah, that would make sense because, like, if they're getting paid in Chinese currency, like China and Iran will always have a good relation. China is a powerhouse. Chinese currency is gonna stay strong. If they get paid any other currencies, like, that might, like, in the future, some economical juggle can happen and, like, might become, like, useless. So they are going for the Chinese currency, right? And trying to, like, replace dollar as, like, the gold standard. There's also that movement, like Russia, Iran, all that. So that could be that reason. I don't know.
Or other stable coins, and they're providing IRGC escorts in return. $2 million will give you a couple rowboats with these IRGC escorts. Their rhetoric paints this all as legitimate wartime control and a defensive move against the US and Israel, in my opinion. Hormuz could be open and the free flow of energy could be restored, but what would the cost be? The US military would need a full spectrum operation involving naval escorts, extensive mine countermeasures, suppression of coastal defenses, and potentially limited amphibious and special ops actions. Right now, the US has 2 supercarriers in the region, the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group operating in the Arabian Sea and the USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group adding massive firepower from the broader theater. These carriers serve as mobile air bases, launching waves of F-18 Super Hornets and F-35s off the USS Abraham Lincoln. Their escorting destroyers and littoral combat ships would screen commercial tankers and conduct close-in operations in the tight waters of the strait. Helicopters specialize mine countermeasures.
There you go, in case you didn't know how big F-35 is. That's a human close to it. That's how big it is. F-35 is smaller for a jet plane. It's still huge.
Vessels would be up ahead, critically sweeping the Iranian coastline and waterways for mines. F-15E Strike Eagles would be up overhead, strafing or dropping bombs on coastal sites that would be trying to target these ships. Again, A-10s would be up ahead as well, while drones would offer persistent surveillance and strike capability.
I think you should stop with F-15. I'm not gonna lie. After the last rescue thing, you don't want another instances of needing to be a rescue. Try to minimize as much as you can. Usually when B2 and B1 bombs, like they have an escort and like growlers and everything. F-15 usually doesn't have growlers. They kind of like in a pair, right? 2 planes go by. That's how it goes. I don't know, man. That could be close call, just like the last time, right? And usually a commander like takes liberty, like it's a nimble plane. Okay, fine, go from here. Not really taking a risk, but that's just like a human thing, right? You would not take those risks with a B1 or something for obvious reason, B-52. So I think you should play it safe and only use bombers if you want to use bombs. Don't use F-15. If you need anything else, use F-35. Like, it might be slow, but it's like, don't take risk. I don't know, man. Because another mission might not go the way you want, right? One time you can do this. Second time, they might have like heightened things now, right? I don't know.
against IRGC speedboat swarms and drone launchers, hopefully without risking any shootdowns, even though it looks like Iran has some advanced surface-to-air missile systems that are likely upgraded from their buddy China, which we'll get to in a follow-on video. But then the Marine Expeditionary Unit, don't sleep on the MEU. That's the one that she told you not to worry about. They could seize key terrain like Karj Island, Lavon Island, and create leverage. All these platforms operated by incredibly well-trained American service members who emphasize precision, discipline, adherence to the rules of engagement. Their real advantage lies in how they would integrate all these different systems. Air, surface, special ops forces working as a single, highly coordinated machine, kind of like that rescue operation we saw, which, by the way, we probably killed 100 Iranian commandos. So if you just do that type of operation
So Call of Duty is not wrong. When protagonists go on a killing spree, that's apparently realistic. USA is just making all video games realistic now. 100 is insane. But then again, SEAL Team 6 was the mission, as somebody pointed out. DEVGRU, which is SEAL Team 6, it was their mission. Well, apparently Delta Force was like guarding the airport. Oh, there you go. Why not? Why not just... this basically use your two most OP things at once. Why not?
To seize an island where you actually have air superiority so you can't get hit by drones, that might be what we see if this conflict kicks back off. But now Iran is going to fall back on their proxy tactics, so this would be a massive operation to root out those proxy tactics, and it would likely take some sort of boots on the ground contingent to fully unroot the IRGC's control of the Strait of Hormuz. So would the US be okay with losing a few ships, losing more aircraft, and potentially American personnel killed or wounded in these opening phases to seize these different areas? What do you think happens with the Strait of Hormuz? Do you think Iran actually follows through and opens it up? Or will we be tapped along like they've tapped along the world and charmed the world with their BS for the last 47 years? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, I think in the Islamabad, they're going to just say, like, give us reparations for all the damage, which is one of the big things they've been asking. Give us money for all the destruction you did, and $1 million for every ship, which is like JD Vance went there. Isn't that weird, man? Like, I don't know. I would not want to be JD Vance. Why? Because if JD Vance agreed to something that doesn't feel right, Trump just like scolds him. Like, you did this. As a, like this weird, like if the public reception is good job, JD Vance. If reception is bad, JD Vance, you idiot. Like, yeah, it's like you can't win either way type of situation. So to me, it feels like JD Vance will play safe and will not agree to most things. So this becomes like a very ceremonious meeting. Nothing's going to come out of this. So we'll be back to square one. That's what I think. I don't know. I'll be surprised if some deal is actually made and this halts. That would be surprising. But there you go. All right, well, there you go. The insane US military operation to open the Strait of Hormuz by Max Afterburner. If you like my channel, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.